Native Americans in the 1800s believed in the idea that power could be transferred from one man to another via sex with a woman. So, for instance, if a powerful warrior had sex with your wife, and then you had sex with her, his power and prowess might transfer to you. Roughly, they called this belief big medicine, the idea that a large, powerful man could transfer his big medicine through sex. As you might imagine, this belief had a large implication for many of the early settlers and travelers of America. Clark, of Lewis and Clark, once documented the following ritual. The old men arranged themselves in a circle and after smoke a pipe, which handed them by a young man, dress up for the purpose. The young men who have their wives back of the circle go to one of the old men with a whining tone and request the old man to take his wife, who presents naked except a robe. The girl then takes the old man, and leads him to a convenient place for the business. We sent a man to this medicine dance last night, they gave him 4 girls. Few may have benefited quite as much from this ritual as a slave of Lewis and Clark's named York. York was a tall, large, and powerful black man, and many of the Native Americans had never seen a black man before. To them, his skin color, physique, and manhood were indicative of very big medicine. And so, consistently, as Lewis and Clark traveled across America and encountered natives, the natives asked York to have sex with their wives. In the words of Colin G. Calloway, a professor at Dartmouth, the sexual exploits of Clark's black slave, York, became legendary. In one documented case, a man asked York to have sex with his wife in his hut, while he guarded the outside. When a member of the Lewis and Clark expedition came looking for York, the Native American man would not let the man have York until the deed was finished. And so, as Lewis and Clark explored America, York and many of the rest of Lewis and Clark's party had sex with countless Native American women, also that the Native American men could receive some of the power of these foreign people who appeared to be magical or godlike to them. Ironically, this ended up causing a serious problem in terms of sexually transmitted diseases, and gonorrhea and syphilis ended up affecting many members of their party. From my research, however, it does not appear that any of this ever affected York. He made out all right, smiley face. There are 574 federally recognized tribes in the United States. Of the 574 federally recognized tribes, 229 are found in Alaska. California has the second highest number of federally recognized tribes, with 109, as well as the largest Native American population of any state. These federally recognized tribes have government-to-government relationships with the United States, like other sovereign nations, but many tribes do not have federal recognition, which means they are ineligible for government programs and support. As of 2020, 66 tribes had received state recognition in 13 states. State recognition does not always entitle tribes to state or federal benefits, but it does acknowledge their historical and contemporary existence. The Indian Citizenship Act was signed into law by President Calvin Coolidge on June 2, 1924. Some Native Americans were already considered U.S. citizens, because the 1887 Dawes Act, which granted citizenship to those who accepted land grants. However, even though they had been given full citizenship, many Native Americans were still denied the right to vote. Voting rights were up to states, and many continued to deny them to Native Americans for decades. States also used discriminatory practices to limit access to the polls. For instance, many used literacy tests, which prevented Native Americans, and others, who could not read and write English from voting. These practices continued until the passage of the Voting Rights Act in 1965.